Beat us. All right. All right, let's talk about it. Every Monday we have an attachment conversation. Every Monday we have a conversation about attachments on this particular platform, okay? We go live and we talk about things that are going to help you guys to be better off in relationships. Today is no different. But today I am talking about why the men only want you. It's you specifically. Let's not talk about the general populace of men. We're talking about why they keep seeing you and keep seeing money. Why is it that the men see you and keep seeing money? Why is it that when the men see you, they keep seeing money? Why is it that you alone, that you always attract the hobosexuals, the men that haven't got a house, the men that haven't got a car, the men that haven't got a job? Why do they keep finding you? Why is it you? Why is it you keep meeting the men that keep lying about their jobs and lying about their finances? Why is it you keep meeting men that keep on saying, listen, they got you but never have you? Why is it you keep meeting men that you keep financing? Why is it you? We have to ask that serious question. Why is it you? And today I'm going to explain why is it that the men, those men that have nothing to give you but got everything to take from you, why they keep finding you. Okay? All right, let's talk about this question. Why is it that men only want money from you in relationships, ladies? Let me be very freaking real. This is going to hurt, but we have to keep it real. Number one, some of you are buying the men. Yes, some of you are buying the men. Okay? Some of you fall into a category where you buy the love of men. That is why the men only see you as a provider and nothing else. Number two group is the big mama group. Some of you are big mama. You said to yourself, I make enough money, I can get a man if I want to as an addition, like he's a handbag. Okay, some of you are big mama. You know what I'm talking about. You don't care because you got money, so I don't care what a man does. I don't care what he does. I don't care. What he does, what he you know, whatever he's doing. I can care for our lifestyle. Okay, some of you are big mama. Okay, you know who you are. And number three group is codependent people who want to save people. Some of you are Supergirl. Some of you are Wonder Woman. Some of you are the type to Bobina the Builder it up, okay? You know who you are. You're either number one, you are literally the person buying people's love. Number two, you're the big mama who is trying to literally say, I don't need to do anything apart from just bring yourself and some good deed. You know who I'm talking about. And number three is the codependent people, those who are rescuers and who can save every man that they see in their life. Okay, all right, okay. So I'm gonna break this down for you. Number one, the first group I just said who you are. I said those who are buying love, okay, are the anxious people attached, okay? If you've got an anxious attachment, you are consistently trying to buy men, okay? You are always trying to buy them so they stay and they don't abandon you and don't reject you. Group number two is the big mamas of the group, okay? You are the dismissive, avoidant women, okay? You've bossed up, you've got your car, you've got your job, you've got your money, okay? You're doing well for yourself, you're ambitious, you're all them things, but you're always saying, listen, I don't need nothing from a man apart from just be there. I just need a man just to be there. I just need a man to just, at the end of the day, just be there. When you're that kind of person saying, I just need a man to be there because you got everything else, I'm going to tell you the man them are going to come in droves just to use you. Okay, all right? Because you're like a pretty man that's got good D. Let's be honest. Okay, because it's never, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. It's normally the pretty men that you allow to get away with it. Because ugly man, yeah. I mean, some of you do actually say that. And group number three is a fearful avoidance. You guys are honestly the Bobina the Builders. You are the saviors of the world. You see a man down in the dumps, okay? You see a man not fulfilling his potential, but you can just see something in him. I don't know what you saw, but you just see something in him. And you're like, I can rescue him. I can save him. If somebody just believes in him, if somebody just sees this man. And most times, whatever you see is dumpster fire stuff, okay? Whatever you're seeing, it wasn't potential. Okay, all right? Yeah, you wanted to save that man. So let's break it all the way down so we can really So we can really start to understand why why you're attracting these type of men that are hobosexuals and don't necessarily want you, but actually want you for what you actually have, your resources. By the way, I want to make it very clear, there is nothing wrong if you make more money than the man and the man is coming up and he's trying to make his way through, okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the man them that you know for sure are not your level. Number two, you're saving them. Okay, those are different type of man that we're talking about. They are not the same. Okay, all right, they are not even close. All right, we're not talking about those kind of the man them that are out there working, being laborious, who are trying to get their money up, who are being ambitious, who got goals, who are consistent. They've had a job for a while, they had a car for a while, like they're looking to buy the house, whatever. Those are serious men, man them. Man them that are out here just slinging D, looking pretty, ain't got a consistent job, have got a consistent job, but keep losing the job. These are the kind of man them I need you to leave them alone, darling. Okay? Because every time you mess with them, it's an opportunity cost. Say it with me. Every time I mess with somebody that's not on my level, it's an opportunity cost. Okay, so if you keep meeting those men that are going to drain you financially and emotionally, I want you to understand you're not cursed. I want you to understand it's not by luck. They are seeing you and finding you, and they're looking for you. Okay, they're looking for you because there's a certain type of energy. When somebody's a scammer, they're looking for somebody who's going to respond in the right way towards their advances. So you have the right energy for that scammer. That man that wants to use you, you have the right energy, which is why I'm telling you, you must be accountable because you can change it. If you're accountable, you can be empowered. And if you're empowered, you have power to do something different. Okay, so we're going to make it through. Let's deal with group number one. Group number one, okay? The anxious attachment people. You guys, okay, are buying love. Okay, so the anxious attachment, what that essentially is, if you don't know, I'll explain it to you. There was a British psychologist called John Bowlby who discovered discovered attachment, emotional attachment, through watching young children, how they would interact with their caregivers. What he noticed is that the way the child would interact with the caregiver often translated to their adult relationships. Okay? So with that, what he saw is there was three categories. There was secure people. Secure people are people who have a good balance. Okay, we're all trying to get to that place of balance. Those of us who didn't grow up in very good households, where our parents didn't love us the way we needed to, and all that kind of stuff, we're trying to be more secure. Okay, but the other two that he clocked were avoidant and anxious. Anxious children grow up in households where the parent, okay, is oftentimes inconsistent with their love. Okay, it's quite performative. So if you grew up in a household with one parent or two parents, and the parents themselves were only showing you love when you did something. For instance, you babysat your little sister, you babysat your little brother. When you got good grades, when you cleaned the house, when you brought money into the house, when you, because some of you might be child stars watching this. We don't know. If you're a child star, you might have gone through this, right? Your parents only giving you love because you were on the stage, because you were a musician and you played piano and guitar and keyboard and all this stuff, or you were the church person, right? This happens for church people too. You're only good when you were, being the good kid at church, or when you were being quote unquote helpful, you had to cancel your summer holidays to help at church, or do this, or every 4 or 5 days you're at church, but you're performing most of the time, right? You're not actually being yourself, right? You're not actually being loved, for yourself. You notice that you can only get love when you did something and your parents saw it, and then they would give you love. So instead of your parents telling you they love you off the cuff and saying, we don't care who you are, we just love you because you're you, they don't. They love you when you do what you do. Okay, all right? So for anxious people, there is a performative aspect. So for anxious women who are choosing certain men, you're always looking to perform. What's the performance here? Your fear is that you will be abandoned or rejected, mostly abandoned. So whenever your fear is abandonment, what tends to happen is you've got to find a way to keep people in your life. So how do you do that? Well, how do you keep an audience? You entertain them. Yeah, you give them a show. So for some of you women, the reason why some of these men only want you for money is because that's what you're willing to trade for their affection and their love. You're willing to trade money for them to stay with you, to like you, to love you, and appreciate you. Okay? Now, maybe you grew up in a particular household and finances was also traded for your attention. We don't know, right? We're not here to blame you. We're only here to explain what's going on with you. All right? So you're in your head, you may not say it out loud, but in your head, you're like, if I give that person enough, if I spend on them enough, if I serve them enough, if I just do a lot for them, what will end up happening is that actually this person will stay. You know what I'm saying to you? So you're buying their love and you don't recognize it. You don't recognize it because for you, it's performative. It's servitude. It's like if I serve that man enough, he will love me. But really and truly, you're just buying him. Okay? All right? So how it shows is that you are somebody. And do you know how I can prove it? Let me show it to you. I'm going to prove it to you. Let me prove it to you what I mean by this. Okay? Because I remember I watched a video on this. And I want to be able to play it for you. Is it in my Instagram? Hold on. Let me see if I can get this video for you to prove what I mean by this. That anxious people generally are trying to buy people and they don't recognize they're buying people early on. Okay? There was a video that was played the other day and it was around... I hope I can find it. Oh, Lord. Let's see if I can find it. I want to find it for you guys. Hold on. Oh, where is it? Oh, Jesus. Okay, hold on. Let me go on TikTok. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can get it. I want to let you play it so you can. Okay, I got it. Cool. All right, let's play this. I want to play this for you guys. I want you to listen to this. This is exactly what happens to anxious people. Okay. I want to play this. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I want you to listen to this.
I spent £2,000 on a talking stage who never claimed me as his girlfriend, and I'm smiling. I spent £2,000 on a talking stage who never claimed me as his girlfriend, and I'm smiling because if I don't, I'll probably cry.
Guys, I fear I need to enter this conversation, right? Because I'm seeing a lot of comments, a lot of stitches. People are calling this girl crazy. But do I think that spending £2,000 on a talking stage is crazy? No. Would I do it? I'd probably do more if I'm entirely honest. I'm not going to lie. Like, when I met my ex, 3 months after meeting him, I was still in the talking stage, by the way. I spent £1,500 on a billboard for his business. And I was in a talking stage. And in hindsight, was that crazy? Yes. Would I do that again for the next person? Yeah, I'd probably do an even bigger billboard if I'm honest. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the right person for this conversation because I don't think she's crazy at all. At all. £2,000, my guys. I don't know. But yeah, just wanted to add my 2 pence because people call no crazy and I'm like, what? Maybe I'm insane.
I spent £2,000 on a talking stage who never claimed me as his girlfriend, and I'm smiling because if I don't, I'll probably cry.
So when I say that the anxious people are honestly buying people, that's what I mean. You may not look at it as buying because you think you're doing them a good service, but I want you to know, ladies, you're buying these men. Okay, the same way we talk about men buying women, you are buying these men. You're buying their love and you're buying their time and you're buying their attention. In the talking stage, you're spending £2,000. Why? Well, because you're afraid that if they see you for who you really are, they'll leave you alone. If you don't be of service, if you don't provide for them, if you don't do something meaningful and of magnitude, they won't be able to see how quality you are. So you're going to spend money to get them. You're paying to play. That's where some of you ladies are. Okay, so and again, we need to understand, because you've grown up in a household where people have made you feel that love is performative, you are performing for that man. So that man sees you and recognizes that energy that you can be taken advantage of because you're a performer, and he will give you the stage to perform. You know how you know? Because he's going to tell you a story. Babe, my car just broke down. Oh my gosh, like, babe, like, I need a new phone, you know, like, right now, I need a place to stay, you know, I haven't got no place to stay right now. And all you're hearing is stage. I can perform. Oh, and no one else can do what I do. Only I can do the above and beyond for you. So now you're going to get your validation and you're going to get your plaudits for doing what you're doing. Okay, all right. So it's really important, okay, that when you are anxiously attached, the reason being is because you were not loved because of who you were. You were loved because of what you did. So whenever you're always moving, that's when you get appreciated. Okay, it feels safest when you're actually useful. The moment you feel like you're not doing something, you think you're not useful and you think you're not valuable. So here's what's going to happen. Even the man that doesn't, so the man that you date, okay, the man that you date that doesn't need you for anything like that, finances, doesn't ask you for too much, it's just cool, and wants to even give to you, you will be like, yuck. You'll be like, I don't know what it is, but I'm not feeling him. And you'll ask, your friends will be looking at you like, what do you mean you're not feeling him? I don't know, I just not feeling him. And then you're always that girl in your group that dates these bums. Okay? Or you date the scammer, or the guy that hasn't got much. And the reason why is because you get value and you get validation when that man is down. Some of you also, it's a power trip. I ain't gonna lie to you, but we'll talk about that number one. That's the next step. But really and truly, you're only seen when you're performing. So it's like, if you haven't got an opportunity to perform for that man, then what value do you have? So if he hasn't got a bad story, how can I help him? Right? How can I help him? Because he's got money, he seems quite emotionally sane, he seems quite sensible, quite stable, he's got a good head screwed on. Now you're asking, where do I fit in? Because you think you have to perform in order to get him. Okay, so what I want you to see, what I want you to understand is, okay, that yes, a good man will see, a good man will see this and go, absolutely wonderful that you love to serve. But he will also tell you, babe, you need to pause a little bit. You're overcooking, right? I want you to imagine this. Imagine nobody's asked you to cook, but when your partner comes home, you've completed a whole spread. Like there's a king and his cohorts coming to your house, and it's only one man, right? That man now is looking at all the food like, damn, I mean, I appreciate it, but it's a lot. That's essentially what you're doing. You're always doing that every single time, because you don't think that just doing I don't even say bare minimum, but doing what the brief said, you can't do that. Whatever the brief said, you have to triumph it. You have to go over it. You have to do more than it. If the brief said 1 meal, you're cooking 5, because you have to prove that you could do more. Okay? Because if you don't, then you're going to be abandoned. At least that's what story that you tell yourself. Okay? All right? And all that shows to men is when you're overproducing, I want you to imagine this, okay? I want you to, just in case you're thinking that these men are wicked, they probably are, but I want to make it clear. Type in the chat, have any of you stolen before? I want to know, has anybody here stolen before? Don't out yourself, but I'm saying to you, like, have you ever, just put yes in the chat. Have you ever stolen from a shop before? Okay. Now, most people will steal from a shop that's well established. And the excuse we'll tell ourselves is, well, they're a big company. They got shops everywhere around the nation. They're global. They won't miss it. That's how a man sees you. When you start overproducing, okay, and he hasn't earned it, he starts stealing. I'm not saying every man. That's not every man. I'm saying there's a certain type of man. Okay. You are the big company and you're the shop. And now he's coming in and saying, there's a lot here, There's a lot that's overproduced right now. Let me just take 1 or 2 things. No one's going to miss it, bro. Yeah? And you know how they feel like you don't miss it? Because you don't even complain. Not until it's too late, at least. All right? And even when you're complaining, you're still doing more. So you're complaining for what? Right? So because you also don't set limits on how you actually give, right? You are boundaryless in the way that you give. And that's problematic. And you scream from the hilltops, I'm just a girl, I'm just a girl, I just want to love a man, I mean, I try to love these men and they always take advantage of me. And it's like, nah, you don't recognize you taking advantage of you. You overcooking and overproducing. And then you're overproducing when no one's asked you to because you are afraid. Your love is actually fear. It's not love. You see, the Bible says that perfect love doesn't have no fear in. So when you operate from a place of scarcity and fear, what tends to happen is the action is not true. It's a bit like if I give to you, but really and truly, in the back of my mind, I'm giving to you only because I want to get a favor from you later on. Is it really given when I do that? No. And when someone is very smart, they pick up on it like, the way you gave to me, it feels like you're trying to ask for something later on. Okay, so what are we saying here, right? We're seeing that you're boundaryless with your giving, you're over generous, Okay, all right? And in that space, you equate with your service and overgiving with love. And that you're hoping that if you do this, you'll get it back in return. But I'm here to tell you that you chose a bad investment. Anybody got crypto? Man, I put a couple £100 into crypto. Crypto's down, bro. Okay? Crypto is down. Okay? And what does that mean? It means sometimes you make bad investments. Okay? Crypto's down. Now, crypto might go back up. Shout out to crypto. It might go back up. But my thing of the matter is, right, with this situation, okay, my thing is that you've invested poorly. And in your investment, you're crying, asking, why is it me? Why is this investment gone so bad? Well, baby, you've invested poorly. You've invested poorly, baby. What do you want? Huh? You've invested badly. And so because of that, your ROI looks really bad. Okay? And now you're blaming the market. Now you're blaming the product. And I'm here to tell you that the man isn't the issue. There are always going to be scammers and there are always going to be gold diggers. And I want you to understand they ain't going to stop. Okay? What we need to know and what we need to do is make sure they're not coming to you. Okay? All right? So, also, you also need to speak up when you feel like there is no reciprocity. Some of you are like, you've taken, like, you are a Risa Tisa. I don't get it. Like, you've got a Risa Tisa spirit, as in, you don't, when it's going against you and the person's not reciprocating, because you don't even want them. And here's the thing. For those of you in group 1 who are the buyers of love, you complain about people not giving to you, but you don't give them room to give to you. Let me give you an example of that. You say you want a man to drive the car. You want to be I want to be a girl, soft life, yeah? You want to be that person. But every time we get in the car, you sit in the driving seat. So how else is somebody going to take over? And then you complain later on, like, I just can't find a man that, that will just want to give to me. Well, my friend, you are not even playing your role. You're in the wrong position. You go to sit in the driving seat because you're buying a man. You're a merchant. You're a businesswoman, and you're failing to understand that if you want to be somebody who's going to be taken care of, if you want to be the one that's going to be soft life, then sit in the passenger seat and let the person come into a driving seat. And what you're going to recognize is the more you sit in the passenger seat, the more you're going to be able to see if this man wants to sit in the driving seat or not. Because somebody who don't want to drive, I can tell you after the first or 2 times, they're going to try to skip it. Once they skip it, you already know that you don't want to drive. This is not the man for you. It's not a man for you. Okay? That's how you get done out. Okay? I want you to understand reciprocity is not a crime, baby. Okay? Reciprocity is not a crime. Okay? Things should be reciprocal. Stop taking pride in the fact that you give so much to a man. You come onto their TikTok, you come onto Instagram, and you snap of what you've done for your man, and we don't know what he does for you. Okay, we don't know. All right? All right, cool. All right, so I want you to understand, some of you, okay, don't do due diligence. That's your biggest problem in group 1. Group 1, people don't do their due diligence. You see red flags and you ignore them. And I want to tell you the truth. Some of you are going to tell me, no, I never saw the red flags. I got used. I need you to wake up and smell the Kenko coffee. You saw the red flag. Can you tell the government that you didn't see the red light? I didn't see the red light. My foot just went down. I drove through the red light. Yeah, darling. And now the court is looking at you. You're gonna get a fine. Okay, all right. You're gonna get a fine, right? You know how you know the red flags? Because your stomach was upset. Your heart was feeling upset. Your head was hot. You felt something wasn't quite right, but you kept on pushing on because something in you was saying to you, well, the risk is worth the reward. So now you're in this position. Now, whether you're ignorant of the rules or not makes no difference. Learn from it, grow from it, become better. Hear me out. If you're going to wallow in the fact that some of these men are washed up and are users and scammers, I'm with you. Some of these men are users and scammers. I ain't gonna hold you. But if you're gonna sit and wallow in the fact that, they men are scammers, you ain't never gonna learn. Because you need to learn by watching the red flags. What did I miss? Why did I miss it? Oh, because I didn't want to have a deep conversation. I didn't want to have a real conversation about what my actual expectations were. No, I'd rather be passive aggressive and actually hope that when I do all X, Y, and Z, why wouldn't they do that for me too? So then you ignore the red flags. He's not doing it. He ain't been doing it, and he ain't gonna do it. No point complaining now. You saw the red flags, you missed it. It's okay, darling. Come sit down. We call it sitting on the bench in our community. Come sit on the bench. Okay? Sit on the bench and heal. All right? And when you look at the red flags, you go, wow, I missed that, I missed that, I missed that. Now, whether it was your first boyfriend or last, I don't care. It doesn't make a difference. Learn so the next time that don't happen to you. Okay? Let's go to group 2. Group 2. Big Mama. Group 2. Big Mama group. Group 2 are the Big Mama. Let me talk to the big mamas out there. Not because not because you look like a big mama, but you operate like a big mama. Okay? Most of you don't look like a big mama. Okay? But you operate like a big mama. Group 2 are the dismissive, avoidant women. Okay? All right? Group 2 are the dismissive, avoidant women. You are the type to say, listen, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. If I want one, I can bag one. You know who you are. Okay? I don't need a man, but I can bag one if I want to bag one. And you know what I mean? You know who you are. The dismissive avoidance, let me talk about the background first before I go any further. Dismissive avoidant people, okay, they grew up in households where their parents did not, were actually emotionally neglective of your emotional needs. Okay? Your parents ignored your cries. Your parents ignored your emotions. They told you that emotions are weak. They told you no one's coming to save you. Save yourself. You are the self-professed big sister. You are, whether you were firstborn or secondborn, third, it doesn't really matter. You are the self-professed big sister, second mama, okay, in your household. You are the person who they said, your mama said, don't worry about her. She's always got it. Right? No one concerned themselves with you because you're the good child that seemingly had it all the time. But when you came to your emotional needs, no one cared. In your household, you know, your mom operated like two parents. She had to, right? And so sometimes that your mother couldn't actually give you the emotional care that you needed. She treated you like an adult when you were a child. Okay? You were 5 and you were at the stove already cooking. No, that made no sense. You were 6 and you were looking after your little siblings. Your mom will go to work, right? Some of this is not on purpose. Like, it's not on purpose. Emotional neglect does not have to be purposeful. Parents don't have to intentionally emotionally neglect you. Parents who are neglectful of their own emotions and dismissive can end up dismissing yours, right? The days where you come back and see, it starts really young, right? It starts really young. It can start from when you're even a baby. How your parents would respond to you crying as a baby. Have you heard parents say, let that child cry, they'll fall asleep? Have you heard it before? Africans, we were notorious for this. Let that child cry, they'll fall asleep. Put that child in the toilet, they'll fall asleep. Like, and for real, it does happen. They cry and they fall asleep. It works. But you know what happens? You also dismiss their feelings. You dismiss their emotions. You invalidate them. Okay? All right? And that child learns they can't depend on their caregiver. Alternatively, maybe you had a parent that didn't do that, but you know what it is? You bought the school uniform, you paid for all your school trips, you had to pay for your phone bill, you had to find a way how to get from A to B. When it came to college, you had to figure out yourself. Like, you've been figuring it out for a long time. You've been figuring it out for a very long time. Very, very long time you're figuring it out for, right? No one's come to save you. You've had to work it out yourself. Right? And what this has birthed is what we call hyper-independence. Nobody can tell you nothing. In fact, other people who don't have their own independence, who are asking you for money, they infuriate you. Yeah? Don't worry about the man there. Look, the man there, we're going to come into the man there. I'm talking about your girls. Okay? Some of you will give money to the man there, but to your girls, you won't do it, bro. Because you're looking at them like, why can't you stand on your own 2 feet? If I had to stand on my own 2 feet, or why can't you? Okay, I don't know why you can't keep a job. Like, what's going on? Okay, all right, I don't get it. Okay, so yeah, with dismissive avoidant people, you grew up in a household where your parents are literally dismissive of the way that they deal with you. Okay, all right, you can't remember the last time you cried. Yeah, you can't remember the last time you can't remember the last time you grieved anything, bro. You ain't got time to grieve. Grieving doesn't pay the bills. Emotions don't pay the bills. Yeah, being down and depressed don't pay the bills. So man ain't even got time for depression. What's depression? I don't even know what that word is. You don't even know what depression is. Yeah, that group 2, you know what's depression? You look up people who get depression, you look at them like, why are they depressed? Like, this life, you ain't got time to be depressed. You don't understand it. It's not that you're not empathetic. You never witnessed it. Yeah, you've never had time for it. Right? Highly accountable people though. You guys are very accountable. The problem is you're probably too accountable. But we'll discuss that in a second. Okay, so dismissive, avoidant women, the big mamas, okay? All right? You ladies, the reason why men come to you is because you treat those men like accessories. Yes. That's why I'm calling you guys the big mamas, okay? You guys treat men like accessories. What does that mean? It means I'm just adding them to my life. Okay? You're the kind of girl that says, listen, I've got it all already. I don't need a man for nothing. I just want to add a man to my life because I can. And the problem with that is because you said you don't need a man for nothing. I just need to add a man. It's the type of man you're adding. Because you see, now you think you're big mama. You know what I'm talking about, innit? You know what I'm talking about. Now you got money in your pocket, yeah? You're not going to go for any kind of man. You're going for a nice, you're going for a man. You see, you're doing what the men do. You're going for a man that, just like how men go for the women because they've got money now, you're going for a man that is good looking to you. To you. He's good looking to you. Yeah? You finally bought a man that this is a kind, like, it's well worth it. You know what I mean? If I'm paying for the man, it's well worth it. Yeah, I'm sugaring him up, but it's well worth it. You see how fine he is? You see how good looking he is? You don't know how he puts it down in the bedroom? Look, you don't pay all the bills, but listen, the man can put it down. You know what I mean? All these excuses come out because you don't need him for nothing. You've already got money. You've got a stable job. You're ambitious. You know what I'm saying to you? You've got goals. Shoot. You might even just want the man for a little baby, have a baby by me, and you know what I mean? Very independent. Okay? Very independent. And the reason is because for you don't like to rely on people. So the man has to be an accessory because anything more than that, you will catch feelings and it will go too deep and then he can really play you. But you don't recognize that you're still going to get played because he's still getting a free ride off your back. Right? So in this instance, it's like I don't need anyone. I'll handle it. I got it on my own. I got the bag by myself. I got here by myself. I don't need him. Only thing I need is for him to be an accessory. Okay? So a lot of the times what's actually happening is you are using your money and your success as a shield for vulnerability. So instead of actually really engaging on a deep emotional level, you're actually really engaging on a level of control. Yeah, because you see, so long as that man don't have no money, so long as that man don't have a job like the way he needs to, so long as he's not meeting his ambitions, baby girl, you're in control. Okay? So long as you got the financial power in this relationship. Okay? So long as you got it. That's it. That's all. You know what I'm saying to you? You're happy. Right? And that's why you see those relationship dynamics where women earn so much more money and she'll just tell you, I just need a man to be able to just complete my life. That's it. Right? And because also there's a power dynamic, because so long as you got the money, you got the say, you got the control. You're the one that gets to dictate that particular relationship. You know what I'm saying to you? So in that space, right? In that space, that's why that kind of man will come towards you, right? Also because you're a big spender. That's why I'm calling you Big Mama. You're a big spender. Yeah, no. You like the lavish things. You like the nice things. But the reality is you need someone to spend it. You see, look, that's what the men have discovered. You see, the men have discovered it. They realize that making all that money and not being able to spend it the way you need to, without no validation. Making money is a type of validation, but it only goes so far. Then money is currency. It needs to flow in order for the next validation to come along. So men spend money on women. Right? They spend money on women. And so when a woman then develops that egotistical aspect that men also develop when they get money, what money does, right? It's now, you've got all that money. What do I do with it? Well, I need to make it flow. I need to get to the next stage of validation. The next stage is I can now almost buy this man. He's an accessory, you know? And then that means I can pick him up and put him down whenever I feel like. Because then that means I don't get my heart broken, because at any given time, if I don't want you, I don't need you. Like, I need you to understand that. I need you to get it. Like, I don't need you, you know? Okay? So this is what we're saying about why certain men are coming towards you in that particular aspect, right? For group number 2. And so what these men are going to start seeing is they're going to see somebody who's a sponsor, okay? And they recognize that they can play. They're now playing the sugar baby, right? They're now playing the sugar baby. They're dropping off D and they're going home. You know what I'm saying? They do what they got to do, right? But there's no real depth of emotional connection. Number 2 is that, because also you're not willing to go deeper on an emotional level, that man also too is also an avoidant as well. That's why he's not going on a deeper level, right? But there is another aspect that's also quite intriguing. That's more rare. This one's more rare. It's not as often. It's very rare. If you meet an anxious man, an anxiously attached man, where you are dating him, right? He will try to give to you, but you won't allow him to give to you, because the dynamics of your relationship will shift and it will change. So in that situation, right, you will notice that these people, they can get married, they can get in a relationship and they can get married. And what will happen is a woman will get tired after a while. Like, these dynamics where I'm always paying for everything is now boring. It no longer validates me. And then they get tired because they got either a kid or there's some other things that have come up, and they're now struggling in the emotional aspect. And they want to flip it. And now they look at the man like, you're a waste of space. Why are you here? But they didn't recognize that they've gone into that contract and they have allowed for the dynamics to exist because it gave them power at the time. But now they feel disempowered. Okay? All right? So this is that's a bit more of a rarity, not always for most people. Again, going back to what we're saying. Okay? All right? Whenever you don't want to go deep, but you're willing to pay for it instead of actually fixing the solution and fixing the problem, you will encounter more men who are willing to take from you. Okay? All right? Okay? So you've got to start looking deeper within yourself to start emotionally connecting. All right? So how does that happen? How to heal? You've got to allow for mutual support. Okay? And allow yourself to be vulnerable in the reciprocation. All right? Vulnerability is not a weakness. I want you to understand that partnership is about us coming together to work together, and that you just existing in the relationship based on material and surface things and not actually going deep is a problem for you. Okay? All right? It's a problem for you. Some of you ladies will meet that man and you know that the connection isn't as deep. It doesn't need to be, because you don't want it to be deep. You never wanted it to be deep. You know what I'm saying to you? And so until you're willing to start breaking the mold of shallow connections, this won't change, right? Until you start recognizing that money shouldn't be the connective aspect of your relationship, it won't change, okay? So we need to go deeper in that aspect as well, okay? All right, group number 3, okay? Group number 3. Okay, group number 3. Let me talk about group number 3, okay? The codependent rescuers, okay? All right, the super girls, okay? The Bobina, the builders, okay? You know who you are in group 3, okay? Fearful, avoidant women. I'm going to talk about you and your money issues with these man them, okay? All right, okay? All right? I want to tell you, listen, y'all are some codependent people in group 3. Bobina, the builder, okay? All right? Let's roll your hair back a little bit. Just work with me here, okay? All right? So, group 3. Fearful, avoidant women. Now, fearful, avoidant people are very interesting because they carry both the anxious and also the avoidant traits. They grow up in households where the parent is a lover and a comforter and also the source of pain. If you grew up in a household where you recognize that your parents, they love you, but they're also very harmful at the same time, you might have grown up in a fearful avoidant home. What does that mean? It means that you recognize that your parents are a source of comfort, but at the same time you have comfort, there's also pain. It's like having a beautiful rose and pressing your hand on the thorn. Every time you get close to them, there is a beautiful rose that you can smell, but at the same time you're always bleeding. That's the equivalent of being in a fearful avoidant household. Your parents are both the source of comfort and also pain. Okay? And so what you recognize is your home isn't a safe place. So you might have a parent who could be very angry. Okay? You might have a parent who's very angry and, you never know when they're going to be angry. In fact, you felt responsible for their emotions. Many fearful avoidants grew up in a household where your parents have no emotional regulation. So now you're trying to regulate their emotions, but you don't even know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get. Today could be the day your mom or your dad blows a gasket. You don't know what you're going to get. So now, when you're in a place where you never know what you're going to get, it's very random. So what does that do to the mind? The mind now is optimized to be very vigilant. So now you become hyper vigilant because for you don't know when it can pop off. So you have to pay attention now to every little detail. You in your adult relationships, you can literally see someone text you and you can tell by the letters that they use that something's not quite right. Okay? You can tell literally by the way that your friend walked in the door, something's off. You can tell by the way that your boyfriend's tone was today, something's off. The way he's even breathing as he's sleeping, he's having a bad dream. Like you're so hypersensitive. It's a blessing, but it's also your downfall. Okay? Because what ends up happening is you believe that every pattern that you can see or every change in the atmosphere is as a result of you, not recognizing that you're not the center of everybody's world. Even though you would never say that you feel like you're the center of somebody's world, your actions are telling us that you think that because you always think that, did I do something? Did I make you feel this way? What have I done to make you do this? Because that's what you saw of your parents. Your parents blamed you for the way they're behaving. Maybe your parents were narcissistic. Maybe your parents were addicts. Okay? Now, this is how it also plays into the money situation. Because if you are a child in a fearful, avoidant home, and it looked like you had some level of control, for instance, and it can be innocent too, this could be a case of, let's say your mom or your dad is sick, and you became a carer for them. This can create codependent spirit, because you've now become their carer instead of the child. Right? Let's say you have a parent who, financially wasn't doing well, right? And you got a job from a very young age, like 14, 15, or even younger than that, Child stars, I would say child stars, always this happens to them as well. Megan Good was a child star. And you recognize that your finances are now going to play a role in the household, right? And this can create madness. Okay, all right, so for now, you start thinking that, my actions dictate how people behave. Now, partly that is true, of course that is, we all know. But the reality is, you think you have more power than you actually do. This is how we birth codependent relationships. Okay, or maybe your parent was an alcoholic, or they took drugs, or they were addicted to some kind of substance, and you had to pick up the pieces when they were in a situation. Right? And what you learn is hyper independence because you can't depend on your carer. But at the same time, you also have an anxious spirit because you don't want to be abandoned and rejected because your parent at some times does at unpredictable moments show you love. So for you now, when it comes to adult relationships and money and men, Bobina the Builder. You are the type, you see the type that come on the TikTok and tell the women that normally come on the TikTok and tell us stories. Most of them are the fearful avoidance side. Most of them. Because for me personally, when I'm listening to them, I'm like, then you haven't told us the truth about your parents. There's something not quite right. And I tell you that because most of the time when you hear someone, you hear them doing Bobina the Builder. They build projects. In fact, they're looking for a project. They don't feel valued unless that man is a project. Okay? So when that man comes to you at first, and in fact, no, let me change it. This is even better. Another, the one that really gets most of you, this one's even better. It's better. This one is one. The one that gets you the most is that for you, the man comes like the Danish deception. How do I say this? The man comes painted as a man of gold. He's got it all together. He just, something about him. And then after a few months, he starts having mad problems. His car breaks down. His house, the roof just caved in. Suddenly he's got an ex-wife that is taking him to court for child support. If you find yourself dating those kind of men, let me tell you why they find you. Because you are a liar. I'm coming to change it for you. Let me tell you why. I'm going to tell you the truth. Some of you might not like this truth, but hold on. Before you jump on my neck, I'm going to explain to you. Some of you are a liar. You're cold-blooded liars. That's why you date men who are also liars. What does that mean? You don't lie to people, necessarily like tell a lie. But you've created a character like makeup. There's a you and there's a you too. The one that there's an avatar that you walk around with that interacts with the world. This is why you meet those kind of men. Because the man that actually the woman that shows up is an avatar. She's not really you. So what ends up happening is, because you know that you have an avatar and it's not being true, whenever that other person starts having issues and problems and the mask starts slipping, you can't even hold them accountable. Why? Because you can't hold yourself accountable. And because you can't hold yourself accountable because you have an avatar that you show up to, you are people pleasing in a way, and you create an avatar that people can interact with, because that avatar is the one that everyone likes, but the real you're afraid to show up with. That's the lie I'm talking about. Not necessarily that you lie to people. That's the lie I'm talking about. What ends up happening is you give so much grace to other people because you wish you had grace. You try to see the best in people because nobody saw the best in you. You try to see the good in somebody who's behaving wickedly and evil because nobody saw the good in you when you did bad. In fact, in your own household, whenever you did something wrong, it almost felt like they labeled you as evil. They treated you like you were a devil in that childhood. The way you were treated. So what ends up happening when you see other men who are misunderstood, he's like, I need someone just to take a chance on me. It's you that's now taking a chance on him because you wish somebody else would do the exact same for you. And then you get conned, like the Danish deception. And you ignored all the red flags because you're a red flag. And you know you're a red flag. And because you haven't fully healed and you know you're a red flag because your mind tells you this, because you know you have you have misjudged the fact that your mind has what we call contradictory emotions. Emotions are not contradictory. Human beings have a very vast, complex array of emotions and thoughts. I can be happy for you and sad for you and jealous for you at the same time. But I'm not about to judge myself. But the fearful, avoidant person will be like, I'm so evil. How can I love them but then be jealous of them at the same time? I'm so wicked. I'm so bad. And here's the biggest issue with fearful, avoidant women. Number 3, who I call them the Bobina the Builders, is that they have low self-esteem and low self-worth. They feel like they deserve it. Yeah. They must feel like they deserve it. So when you look at their results that you're getting from these men, they are an indication of how you feel about yourself. Yeah. Yeah. When you go to the market, okay, in England, we have what we call a market. When you go to the market, I know in America you might have some, but I want to say something that's very cultural to our UK. I don't know if you guys have it in America too. But when you go to the market in UK, when you get to the market, we say haggle, negotiate, okay? Now, when you get to the market, you negotiate, you haggle, you try to get the price down. When you go into a traditional shop, can you haggle? You can't. Why? The standard is set. So some of you are the market, not the stock, not the store. You're the market, and you are haggling just to even get them to look at you, to see you, and to recognize your value. And you don't because you don't see the value in you, you are happily putting yourself in danger. Let me tell you another thing about this that the Bobina the Builders are. those of you who grew up in a fearful, avoidant home, you don't recognize danger the same way that everybody else does. Because you come from a house of chaos, what you'll notice is that your life is chaotic a little bit. How does it look like? Emotionally. Your life emotionally is chaotic. How do I mean? You are a chaotic spender. You know who you are. You are impulsive. You just buy on the whim of the hat. If you feel like it, you'll buy it. Even to sometimes your detriment of your monthly bills. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to hear it. Some of you know. Some of you bought a holiday this year and on your credit card, you don't have the money. That's what I'm talking about. Yep. Some of you know, okay? You don't know how you're going to pay the bill this month, but you don't care because you had a good time. You based it on your feelings, your impulsiveness. Okay, all right. Sometimes you're doing really well for a good few months. You'll save up a lot of money, and then all of a sudden you feel some emotional way, and suddenly you just start spending. You're not sure why that's happening to you, and that in that instance, what's going to happen is you're going to draw a type of man. You're going to draw a type of man because of the chaotic way that you behave. You're going to accept his chaos as well. Chaos recognizes chaos. So yes, he just told you, oh, yeah, my grandma just passed away. We need to pay for the funeral. Oh my gosh, you know, my sister said her child is sick and she needs money for the medicine. And even though you're hearing all of these problems, in your head, your life has a lot of problems too. You came from a household that has a lot of problems. It's conceivable that he has all these problems. So what do? Bobina the builder, come to the rescue. Okay. Yeah. Because I wouldn't want anybody to disbelieve me and think I'm a liar, right? So then you go, okay, I'll give him grace. I can't believe he's a liar. I'll give him grace. I'll ignore the red flags. Okay? All right? So the pattern is because you also as well, all right, oftentimes you look to use finances to earn people's loyalty. A lot of times also to a fearful avoidance, your problem is that you've got no boundaries. Just like the anxious person, bad boundaries, overgiver, chronic overgiver. You know, because the warning signs are there. Let me tell you how the warning signs are there. You're the type that every month you're giving to your mum, your dad, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, and you look at the end of the month and you've barely got anything for yourself. But it's okay. Okay, all right. It's okay because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm doing the Lord's work. At the end of the day, I'm being a good daughter. At the end of the day, you know, I don't want to be, you know, the black sheep of the family. I don't want to be left out. I don't want to be, I don't want to betray the trust that people have put inside of me to help. You know, I should be this role. And some of you, your boundaries are so bad that it affects you. At the end of the day, like you give so much money away, but it's like these people are just taken from you. And so actually, the first betrayal is oftentimes by family. Okay? So what people see oftentimes is a very strong but empathetic type of woman. You know, you're just strong. You heard a man say you're strong before? That's what he means. You're just strong. What he really means is, baby girl, I see you can handle a lot of nonsense. Yeah, I can see you can handle a lot of nonsense. You're just strong. Yet you're so caring. He's about to start doing nonsense. Okay? All right? He's about to start doing nonsense. And I keep saying this. Because you yourself are using tactics of manipulation, when that person uses manipulation, it's fair game. That's how it feels like to you. Right? Because, you know, you're not being your true self. You're not showing up as your true self. You're not telling them how you really feel. Everything's a mask. Well, my friend, you've met another mask. Okay? So the relationship becomes transactional rather than being about actually a really mutually exclusive relationship with reciprocation. Okay? All right? And because also you feel guilty because you know your behavior isn't up to par either, right? You accept that his behavior is not up to par either, and you give them grace. That's why some women can stay with a man for 15, 20 years, and you just see he's using her blood the whole entire time. You know, we're looking at Candy and Todd right now. Did he not say out of his own mouth that he basically about money? Did he not say it out of his own mouth when she was sitting in the salon and he was talking about money? And you're thinking to yourself, Candy, what's going on? Candy then wanted to open up a relationship and have a threesome with this man. Look, people who have these thought processes come from a very fearful, avoidant home usually. That mindset of, I'll open up my relationship to a threesome and I'll do whatever I can. Look, the reality is you're afraid of betrayal, rejection, and abandonment. So now you start doing anything in your power, even outside the realms of a natural, healthy relationship, to make that person stick. I need you to stop financing potential, okay? All right? Stop trying to build his dreams for him. Stop trying to be a Bobina the Builder, okay? Let that man figure it out, okay? All right? You need to stop. And here's another thing. Some of you also getting conned because the sex is good. Not just the sex, the chemistry is good. You know, you don't know what it is about this man. We just vibe. He just gets me. I don't know what it is. Just, you know, we just get along so much that you think that because you get along so much, he can't be the one that's going to scam you. He can't be the one that's going to cheat you. He can't be the one that's going to sell you short. He can't be the one that's going to use your money against you. No, he can't be. Okay. Okay. Well, look. I've come to the end of my talk. So here's what I do. If you've got any questions, I will open it up to the floor to ask your questions. Have you got any questions, ladies and gentlemen? We will open up the floor to your questions.